That motherfucker needs to go to prison.
My man Tyler Riddle, Matt. I run a small cut podcast known as the Pigskin Mafia Podcast, and I just wanted to say that you, JB, and Schmitty influenced me to start the podcast and believe my dream. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, bro, just keep showing up. I mean, trust me, there's plenty of days where I don't want to do this shit. There's plenty of days where I don't want to go to 6-0. There's plenty of days where I hate the grind. There's plenty of days where I don't think anything's going to come out of it. And all I do is just keep showing up, and every month and every year we just keep pushing on by. So, it's not always about what you can get out of it. It's what you can give. And if you are in the mindset that you're going to give and you're going to try and help other people, and you're going to try and, put other people first with all the kids that we put into college and all the guys that are about to get drafted this year into the NFL, and the guys coming up next year, I try and put them first. And even if they don't see it, eventually they will. And, the more that you can put people before yourself, the more you're going to get something out of that. So,
Tyler Riddle.
What's up, T.O.?
What up?
Everybody in the car, man.
Hey.
It's work.
Good to see you guys again. So I got an interesting take on this Arizona State Texas State game.
Yeah.
I think Texas State's going to beat Arizona State due to the fact that Arizona State doesn't play all 4 quarters. Texas State has looked very impressive to me thus far. I kind of want to get y'all's thoughts on Arizona State, Texas State as well. I have them winning 35-31 in that matchup.
You got Arizona?
I got Texas State beating Arizona State.
Oh, yeah. But you said Arizona, Kansas State. Did you know?
No. I actually got Arizona in that game against Kansas State. Yeah.
Gotcha. Man, I don't know. Texas State's interesting. I don't know who their quarterback is. Obviously, it being a smaller mid-major.
It's McLeod. It's Jordan McLeod, I think.
Yeah, I don't know any of these guys anymore, man. They're all transfer portal kids. I stopped watching them. But
yeah, he's from James Madison for sure. But
it still got Cam with a Skatabo or whatever his name is. So,
Skatabo. I like him as a running back, man.
One of the youngest head coaches in football, Arizona State, man. Good friend of mine as well. I just got to see him in Arizona not too long ago. He's building Arizona State maybe the right way. A couple of good friends of mine are on that staff. He's building Arizona State the right way, so we'll see if but you know what? The way he's building the momentum, they're 2-0. They beat Mississippi State. Obviously an SEC team, even though they're not a power. I think that momentum carries in. I would take Arizona State over Texas State. But
yeah,
we'll
I think it's gonna be a dogfight though for sure. Yeah. I like what GJ Keen's doing over there too. He's basically following the suit as Steve Sarkisian's doing through the recruiting and transfer portal. I think they both manage it well. So,
hey Tyler, I appreciate you, man. We're gonna take 2 more calls and then we'll get back to the show.
Thanks, my guy.
Hey man, long time.
Rolex wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. Big crowd, 4th and long, trips left, Jacobson, back to pass, he rolls out to the right, Jacobson makes a man miss, Jacobson, and he makes a man miss, Jacobson fires, and God! Oh! Touchdown Mustangs! How in the world?
Are you ready?
Yeah, and then you make a big stop against Baylor. Baylor!
Oh!
Oh shit, they actually did it! They actually fucking did it! So if I'm a Congress fan, that franchise guy's gonna be so fucking happy about that. Oh my god! They actually did it, bro. I'm gonna be so happy, bro. He was a nine!
I called it. I called it.
No, we all called
it.
it. Didn't we?
No, hold on, Warren. I know I'm supposed to fucking hate it. I don't fucking hate it. I'm just gonna keep it real. I hate it. Okay?
Oh God. What?
Oh my god, bro. What the fuck?
Detroit is on the clock.
Get the... Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes, sir. Detroit is on the clock. Wow. And their pick is in as well.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
So, Chris, so Dallas in a last-minute exchange decided to trade their pick off to the Detroit
What the fuck are you doing, Jerry? And could not leave the defense! You got me jumping! It'd be called cream pie smash.
Oh, God, dude. I knew it.
So, West Virginia played about as good as my fucking hairline is right now. And you probably see my hairline, Bailey. It is bad. Okay?
God!
For the love of football.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pigskin Mafia podcast, live on YouTube, possibly live on Instagram. Twitter's kind of having issues, and TikTok, well, fuck TikTok anyway. What matters is I'm live on YouTube. What's up, everybody? We are back after week 0. I would say kind of a shocking developing week 0 in my opinion, but we'll go over that here in a little bit as we go through some news on tap. The first big news that I want to talk about is a guy that we've been really screaming that he needs to get paid. He got paid today. TREY Hendrickson has been paid today. Now, TREY Hendrickson, he's been with the Bengals for quite some time now. I think he's on his last year on his contract. I'm not entirely too sure. But here's the deal. You might as well call this a fucking a franchise tag, but it's not really a franchise tag because of the simple fact that we're seeing a guy sign 1 year for a $14 million raise. So that puts him at $30 million a year. The problem is he's only getting paid for one fucking season. So where does that put TREY Hendrickson? Well, I'm about to show you. Boom! You can't see my face right now, but what you're seeing is the highest paid edge rushers in the NFL today. You got TJ Watt at number 1 with $41 million per year. Then you have Myles Garrett with $40 million per year at number 2. Number 3, Danielle Hunter, who is still wrecking up havoc in the offensive line through the trenches. That puts him at number 3 with $35.6 mil. Number 4, Max Crosby, puts him at $35.5 million per year. And also the 4th place highest paid edge rusher in the NFL. And number 5, Nick Bosa. What's up, had 33D, by the way. Puts him at $34 million per year. All right, now we see the lower part of the top 10, but TREY Hendrickson is not a top 10 paid edge rusher. I think that the Bengals looked at it and said, we need him this year. Let me get it back to my face real quick before I lose my patience with this. But anyway, what we're looking at here with the Bengals, they are telling us that they need more time with Trey Hendrickson's contract. That's what I'm gathering here. They come to agreement that we'll pay you a $14 million raise. Next season, how well you perform will determine how we go about this contract. Maybe you'll be the highest paid edge rusher in the NFL by then. See, I like this more than watching a fucking entitled NFL player sit out and then get paid 4-year extension with fucking $345 million per 4 years, and gets like maybe 65 or 70 million per year. I know it's make believe, but you know what? I'm tired of the bullshit with the NFL owners. Kudos to Mike Brown for dealing with the contract negotiations the way it needed to go and not waste a lot of money right now. I think he saved a lot of money by doing that. He saved a good player, saved money at the same time. And that is good business, in my opinion. And you rarely hear that from me about the Bengals ownership or the Bengals in general. So, kudos to Mike Brown, the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, here's another headliner. And I am just, when is the bullshit going to stop with this? Travis KELCE and Taylor Swift are now married or engaged, whatever you call it. I'm a single man. I don't give a fuck. My opinion on this matter is this. It confirms my suspicion about their relationship. She is going to feed Travis KELCE until he is Porky the Pig. He's already semi-fat for what he was. When let's be honest. Travis KELCE really fucking downgraded. He really downgraded over the years. He went from this beautiful black woman with curves and, I'm a curve guy. I'm going to be honest. I like me a little ass and a little package up here too. Just bagoong. And that's what he had. And she was a beautiful black woman, by the way. They break up and then he starts dating Twig Girl, Taylor Swift. He dates one of the fucking aliens from Men in Black. He starts dating Johnny's best friend, Plank. And now he's engaged with a fucking 2x4. I'm sorry, 1x4. I won't even give her that credit that she's a 2x4. Look, let's be real. She may be a sweet person. She may be a nice person. But I gotta be honest. This is weird. I think Travis KELCE has turned soft because of Taylor Swift and her ideology. He's turned into some fucking crybaby, that entitled crybaby at that. I genuinely do not like this guy. Yes, exactly. Guxy, or what? How do you say your name? I'm sorry. You're exactly right, though. Her looks are mid. She looks like a fucking board. She looks like a fucking 1x4. She's skinnier than the fucking desk that I'm sitting in front of. Like, the board is this thick. She's this thick. What the fuck, Travis? You had an ebony princess and you went to fucking the aliens from fucking Men in Black, the fucking cockroach looking ones. The skinny cockroach looking ones. Those ugly fucking things. That's what she looks like, in my opinion. Now, the Swifties are probably going to attack me. I don't give a fuck. You can come at me, Swifties. I don't. Yeah, he definitely downgraded. He downgraded to a fucking... He downgraded from a fucking ebony princess to a fucking plank. She is a plank. We need to stop fantasizing about Taylor Swift. I mean, good God. And I bet you he changes his last name because he's gotten that soft. He used to be a fucking real one until he started dating Taylor Swift. I'm telling you right now, my suspicions of him being a feedie and she is a feeder in a feederism relationship where she stuffs fucking cupcakes and fucking protein powder in his fucking mouth and force feeds him with that shit. And watch, he's going to retire this season. They're going to have a baby, and he's going to end up looking like his brother, Jason. He's going to look fatter than Jason. Yeah, he doesn't. He's a fucking shitty chameleon, if we're being real, homie. He is a shitty chameleon. Shady chameleon at that. And, yeah, I hope this is the last time we ever talk about Taylor Swift on this podcast. I really do not give a shit about about them in their relationship. I'm just saying that it further speculates how I think the relationship is going. Feederism. It's a real thing, especially with Travis KELCE and this broad here. So, we're going to continue on with the show. Last week, or this past weekend, was the first college football week. And we like to mesh. Swifties are whack. I agree. So, we're going to talk about the week 0 recap real quick. It won't be much. It won't be long. I'll just kind of break down what I've seen and then the stats of the games that I didn't get a chance to see. I tried watching UNLV and Idaho State, which I'll get into that here in a little bit. I think UNLV is in trouble. Let's talk about the game in Ireland. The first game of the season, Iowa State taking on Kansas State. The first half was atrocious. Receivers dropping passes. People were slipping. It was, and the thing was, the field was so bad in the first half. I'll get to that at the end of the show, Guckeasy, if you're okay with that. If not, we'll figure that out later. But right now we're going to talk about week 0 recap, and then I'll kind of get my thoughts on the Cowboys, because that's a topic I need to discuss. But yeah, it was sloppy in the first half. Second half, the third quarter kind of looked like it was still sloppy, but there were some plays being thrown around, and there's some pretty good plays. And then all of a sudden, the fourth quarter rised up, and Avery Johnson kind of went off in a way. Iowa State looked like they were going to take it away, and then Avery Johnson threw a fucking 65-yard bomb, which was fucking crazy. Put the Kansas State Wildcats back in the game, and it was a fun fourth quarter. I didn't really yeah, it was just a really good fourth quarter game, in my opinion. No worries, Guckeasy. Like I said, I'm going to try to get through this recap real quick, so bear with me. But Kansas State opened up as 3-point favorites. I picked Iowa State to win. 27-24. Iowa State ended up winning 24-21. Carson Henson was the difference in that game, in my opinion. Even though he didn't have any touchdowns, I loved the way he played. He looked like Stone Cold Steve Austin in the longest yard, running the football. He was brutalizing those fucking Kansas State defenders, and Kansas State has to learn how to fucking wrap up. I can't tell you how many times I've seen missed tackles from Kansas State. Moving on to the game that I was going to talk about after. Idaho State traveling to UNLV. UNLV was a 26.5-point favorite. First half, UNLV was down. They were down at the half. Fucking 17-14. Against Idaho State, who went 5-7 last year in the FCS. Unfucking believable how bad this UNLV team looked. And for UNLV, they need to stop fucking throwing the ball too goddamn much and just run the fucking rock. Run the rock. I'm telling you right now, their running back, Jaden Thomas, had 10 carries, 147 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Off of 10 fucking carries, 147 yards, 3 touchdowns. But y'all wanted to throw the fucking football. And then the defense. Oh my God. Don't get me started with that defense. Their defense gave up fucking 380 yards off of 50 passing attempts with 30 completions from Jordan Cook. Luckily, they know how to intercept the ball. Bad news is they can't fucking cover. Like, UNLV's in trouble. And I had them up there in the group of 5. Now I'm not so sure. Dan Mullen has to fucking run the ball offensively. Defensively. There's a lot of fucking work to do in UNLV. That's one thing for sure. Moving on to the other group of 5 team, Fresno State out of the Mountain West. Same thing as UNLV. Oh, yeah. UNLV won 38-31. I predicted them to win 45-17. But that didn't fucking happen. But game number 3, Fresno State taking on Kansas. Kansas was the 12.5-point favorite. I actually picked Fresno State to win because I wanted to go against the grain. I'm going to be honest. I wanted to go against the grain. I wanted to show that I had faith in Fresno State, and E.J. Warner, son of Kurt Warner, and yeah, UNLV does need to get it together. Fresno State played bad. They had one good drive, and that was the opening drive after KU scored. After that, it was all KU. Kansas fucking brutalized Fresno State. And Kansas looked good out there. They looked fucking mid-season form. Jalen Daniels, 18 for 20. And I get it. He threw short passes and whatnot. And I'm pretty critical about quarterbacks throwing short fucking passes, right? But look, he looked comfortable. He looked healthy. That's the most important part for Kansas. Fresno State's got a lot of work to do. It looks like the Mountain West is going to be shitty this year, in my opinion. And it looks like it's going to be a repeat for Boise State. But who's to say that Colorado State won't be good and all these other fucking schools? Air Force and, the Mountain West. But Kansas looked like a Big 12 contender out there, in my opinion. Do I think they'll win the conference? No. Maybe later on in the season I'll have other premonitions of Kansas. But right now, I just see them as like a Big 12 spoiler right now. I think that the Big 12 is too fucking wide open for Kansas to win a conference championship anytime soon. So, moving on to Sam Houston State, Western Kentucky. I was almost right about this prediction right here. I had Western Kentucky winning 45-31. They ended up winning 41-24. Look, I mean, this was a battle between two decent quarterbacks. Milvor for Western Kentucky threw 33 for 51, 401 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a QBR of 72.2. And then Hunter Watson, I like Hunter Watson. He's all right in my eyes. But 19 for 30, 209 yards, and he did throw a pick in that game, but he did run quite a bit in that game too. So Sam Houston State needs to focus on the triple option more than trying to throw the ball, in my opinion. Same thing with UNLV. Focus on running the ball. Quit trying to be like Hawaii, which we'll get to that here in a minute. Stanford at Hawaii. This game was played in Hawaii. Hawaii opened up as 2.5-point favorites. I actually had Stanford winning 31-20. And look, Stanford is going to Stanford at some point. Just like A&M will A&M at some point. Stanford found a way to shoot themselves in the fucking foot. Not once, not twice, but multiple fucking times in that game. I was so embarrassed that I even thought about picking Stanford. I should have went with my gut. I should have went with Hawaii. They have a badass quarterback that's tough as fucking nails and has a lot of resiliency. Now, I had Stanford winning by 11, 31-20. They blew the game. Fucking Branson should never fucking play quarterback ever again for Stanford. He went 50% completion percentage in that game with under 200 yards passing. Stanford, run the fucking football. Run the goddamn wing T. I'm telling you, these fucking teams need to start running the wing T in the wishbone again. Because they keep getting shitty quarterbacks and shitty receivers. Guess what happens? You put more stress on the run and you don't even utilize it. You just fucking play air raid offense. You're not fucking Mike Leach, Frank Reich. You're not. You're Frank Reich. Do your fucking job. Run the fucking ball. Be conservative. Don't be aggressive. You're not a fucking mastermind coach, Frank Reich. I'm sorry. You may have more qualifications than I do, but I know when I'm up by 3 and time's winding down, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to run the fucking ball. Kill some time off the clock. That's what a 4-minute offense is for when you are up by 3 or more points. Why in the fuck would you throw the goddamn ball? And Branson, what in the fuck were you thinking in that game? What did you see out there, young man? Because that was one of the worst displays of quarterback play in college football I've seen since Anthony Richardson and fucking Graham Mertz. Not a shot at Florida, but a shot at fucking QB play. But that's all I have for week 0. Look, we need to stop playing in Ireland too. I know I was hyped about Ireland and potatoes and Farmageddon, but that's the nerd in me coming out. Now here's the fucking realistic football fan saying, do not play in fucking Hawaii. Or not Hawaii. In Ireland. We do not want to play foreign. I think it's stupid to play foreign for a lot of these coaches and for these players. These fucking ADs don't understand that, apparently. CDC doesn't do that. The fucking Alabama fucking AD doesn't do that. Why in the fuck are we seeing fucking Farmageddon in the beginning of the season, too? Now, Kansas State probably has to play from behind, and we don't know if they're going to be good. You know? I don't know. I kind of just got disappointed with the whole Ireland game, too. I'm done with teams going to Ireland. And now you got TCU, who's going to play in Chapel Hill this week. And then next year, guess where they're going? They're not playing in fucking Fort Worth. They're playing in fucking Ireland. Why? They need to play in fucking Fort Worth. It's a home and home series for a reason. Stop making these fucking games in Ireland or Mexico City or whatever the fuck. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. But anyway, Guck Easy asked a question about the Dallas Cowboys. I've said this before, you know. I think the Cowboys are going to be shitty this year. I am a Dallas Cowboy fan by trade. I love the Dallas Cowboys. I'm a Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin fan. I'm a fan of the history behind Jimmy Johnson and Tom Landry in Dallas. But I think we're too far gone until Jerry is out of there. Until Jerry is out of there, we're going to be the same mediocre team that will never win a fucking Super Bowl. So we need to stop, as Cowboy fans, shout out to Cowboys Nation, Dallas Cowboys for life, we need to stop saying we are going to the Super Bowl. Because it's annoying, it's stupid, it is unrealistic, and plus we have too many goddamn prima donna players out there. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. And yeah, I think Dak needs to go. And we'll tank for Arch this season. I'm making a prediction. I think we're going to be so awful this season that we're going to be ahead of the Saints, ahead of the Browns. We're going to be the number one team in the draft this season. After this season. And we're going to tank, and we're going to go for Arch. I am a realistic Cowboys fan. I've been saying this shit since fucking when Romo was playing, and I was fucking 12. I was saying this shit when Romo first started. I was younger than 10 when Romo fumbled the fucking football. It was my first time seeing the Cowboys in the fucking playoffs in 2007, I believe. In Seattle, my Grandpa Jim's favorite team of all time. Shout out to Grandpa Jim, who passed away back in 2002. Huge Seattle Seahawks fan. We were right there. PAT. Romo fumbles the football. Instead of calling the fucking fire call where you got your fucking gunner. You got your gunner shooting out into the flat so that way Romo could fucking throw it. Nobody was there, so Romo had to run it in, and he was fucked. That was the first time I ever cried about a fucking football game. That was the first time I ever cried, sad cry, about a football game. And yes, the fans keep sipping on shit that happened 30 years ago. You know that I was born the day after the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl. How do you think I fucking feel? It sucks. It sucks. And yes, we are content with mediocrity. And Jerry Jones has proven it time and time out again. It is unbelievable how fucking mediocre the Cowboys have become. And I blame it on Jerry Jones when he fired Jimmy Johnson and put in Barry Switzer, which Barry Switzer won a hand-me-down Super Bowl. He did. I'm going to be honest. Barry Switzer won a hand-me-down Super Bowl with a team that relied on so much of Jimmy that Troy was getting frustrated. And that's crazy. The Jets and the Cowboys have the same amount of playoff wins since the last Super Bowl that the Cowboys won. That's enough said, folks. Maybe I should be the owner of the Cowboys. I cut motherfuckers left and right. I don't care about cap space. I'm too ignorant for that shit. I will cut motherfuckers for back-talking me. It is what it is. Micah, you want to lay on the fucking training table? Get the fuck out of here then. Enjoy free agency. Go play for fucking Pittsburgh or wherever the fuck you want to play because of your curiosity. Oh, Dak, you want $60 million a year? Go fuck yourself. You play like a fucking $15 million quarterback. You don't even play like a $15 million quarterback. You know what you play like? You play like a fucking UFL quarterback. Sit your ass down. CeeDee Lamb, you want how much? Bitch, you dropped too many goddamn passes. Shut your fucking ass up. You see what I mean? We need more ownership like that. And that's why I praised Mike Brown for the way he conducted his business with Trey Hendrickson. As much as I love Trey Hendrickson as a player, I respect Mike Brown more for what he just did today. We'll give you a raise, and then we'll talk about your contract after the season. So, yeah. And I've been saying that, too, that Dak has been hurt multiple times in the last fucking couple years. But, oh, no. We got people telling me that Dallas is going to win against the Philadelphia Eagles week 1 in Lincoln Financial. Yeah. Unbelievable. Enough about the Cowboys. We're going to talk about college football week 1 predictions. My predictions for this week. Now, if you haven't been on my Twitter, go to my Twitter at TJRitten_PNP. There's polls on there. I have it pinned to my profile. And there's polls down there with all the games that I have on for tonight's show. And y'all can vote on who you think's going to win. Our main headliner is Texas at Ohio State. Number 1, Texas at Ohio State. Number 3. And then our co-headliner is number 9 LSU at number 4 Clemson. Battle of Death Valley. Why isn't that a rivalry name? Battle for Death Valley. Or Battle of Death Valley. Or something like that. We need to make that a rivalry, please. But before I talk about those two games, and also number 6 Notre Dame travels to number 10 Miami too. I got something special for those three. So those three will be last. Texas will be the main event, or Texas and Ohio State will be the main event. LSU and Clemson will be the co-main event. And then Notre Dame and Miami will be the first of the big games that we're going to be talking about. You know why they're the big games? Because they're rank on rank. So, here we go. We're going to talk about Boise State, number 25, traveling to USF to take on the USF Bulls. ESPN at 4:30 p.m. Central Time. And it shows that Boise State is favored 64.5%. And also the odds show that Boise is a 6.5 point favorite. The over and under is 63.5, which is pretty reasonable looking at both teams. And minus 225 for Boise and plus 190 for USF. And this is a first time matchup for both teams. And not only that, it is going to be on Thursday night. I'm excited for this one. This one's going to be a fun contest. I'm looking forward to see what Madsen's got in his arsenal without Ashton Genty at the helm. It's going to be very interesting to see how these two teams are going to go at each other. Alex Golish, I love that guy. He is awesome. He had a USF team play bare to the bone against a Nick Saban Alabama team a couple years ago. I thought that was an impressive display, and he loves that program. So, but here's my prediction. I think it's going to be a slugfest until the fourth quarter, and then Boise State is going to somehow come away with a victory. 35-24. I got the Boise State Broncos winning that one. All right. Game number 2. Auburn. The Auburn Tigers claiming national championships. Doesn't have a starting quarterback quite yet. They're probably going to play with all 3 quarterbacks in this game. Taking on a Big 12 opponent, the Baylor Bears. Now, this is their 5th meeting. Baylor actually leads the series 2-1-1. They'll be playing at 7 p.m. Central Time on Friday. Baylor is a 51 point... What is that? I can't even read my own handwriting. Jesus Christ. 51.8% chance of winning that game according to ESPN, and that will be live on Fox. But Auburn is a 2.5 point favorite. For those bettors out there, pretty intriguing. The over and under is 57.5. Auburn is a minus 130, and Baylor is a plus 110. Now, I don't know what Vegas is thinking right now, because when I'm looking at Auburn right now, I understand the production value. And I understand what I said earlier, that I think Auburn is a sleeper in the SEC. But over the last recent couple weeks, Baylor is a sleeping giant. I don't think they'll win the Big 12, but I think they'll definitely be a conference wrecker. Auburn looking like the quite opposite. They look like a fucking joke, if I'm being honest. Auburn to me looks like a fucking joke this season. They can't figure out what quarterbacks to start. You see Hugh Freeze yelling at Jackson Arnold. They're claiming national championships from back in fucking 1900 or some shit. I don't even remember. And Auburn does not look like they're fucking ready to play football, in my opinion. I got Baylor in this game 38-21. I think Baylor makes a statement that we're here to play football. We're not here to play grab ass. And that's what Baylor is going to do to Auburn. I think Baylor is going to win this game. So, it's a very close betting odds. I wouldn't bet this game, but if I had my money on Baylor, I'm guaranteeing a win for Baylor. I'll eat crow if Auburn wins that game in Waco, by the way. Next game we're going to talk about a first-time matchup between Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets of Atlanta, Georgia, taking on Coach Prime's Colorado in Folsom Stadium. It'll be live Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Time on ESPN. Colorado is projected to be a 52.7% favorite to win that game. But Georgia Tech, as far as Vegas is concerned, is a 4-point favorite. The over and under is 54.5. Georgia Tech minus 180 and Colorado 155. And again, this is a first time matchup, which this was like a dream match back in the 90s, if we're being honest. Like back when Georgia Tech was actually running the fucking wishbone and the triple option, and Colorado with fucking slash. You know, it's very intriguing to look at this matchup between Brent Key and Coach Prime. Now, I'm going to give credit where credit's due with Brent Key and Coach Prime. I think they're two of the best disciplinary coaches. Coach Prime especially. I just keep being impressed with the way Coach Prime handles his team. And this is a statement game for him. Can I win a game without Shador or Travis? And then on the other side for Georgia Tech, Brent Key. Is Georgia Tech a ACC contender this year, or are they going to be the same struggling team that makes it to a fucking Independence Bowl or something? I have really good odds on Georgia Tech this season. Colorado, I think they'll be a stifling team. This is going to be a physical game. But I think Georgia Tech is more physical. Haynes King is probably going to be a difference maker. That three-headed backfield of what I keep talking about is going to be the difference in this game. That run offense of Georgia Tech is going to be dangerous, especially for that interior defensive line for Colorado. And I follow Matt McChesney. Shout out to Matt McChesney, former Colorado Buff. I listen to a lot of his stuff, and I like what he says about Colorado. And I agree with him on that matter. But I'm going to give Georgia Tech the slight edge. I think Georgia Tech is too physical on the line of scrimmage against Colorado, even though they're replacing some veterans for Georgia Tech's offensive line. I just think that those backs and Haynes King is too goddamn physical. And I think that Colorado is going to have a hard time against the run against Georgia Tech. And then vice versa. Is Colorado going to run the football against Georgia Tech? They need to run the fucking football this season. If they don't run the fucking football, it's going to be a bad fucking season for Colorado. I like Caden Salter. I really do. But can they run the football and not worry about throwing fucking 50 attempts like UNLV does? Do not do what UNLV does. That's why I got Georgia Tech winning this game. Hey, thanks for subscribing, by the way. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Gut Geezy, share this to your friends and family. I I got Georgia Tech winning 27-21 in this matchup. I just think that Georgia Tech is too fucking physical in the trenches against Colorado. Game number 4, I'm going to skip the Texas and Ohio State game. That's going to be later on. I'm going to skip it to Syracuse and Tennessee. This game will be on Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Time. Syracuse versus number 24 Tennessee in the Aflac kickoff that Saturday morning. Live on ABC. Tennessee opens up as an 88.6% chance of winning according to ESPN. Tennessee is a 13.5 point favorite against Syracuse. The over and under is 50.5. Syracuse is actually a plus 425, and Tennessee is a minus 650. Listen, and Tennessee's undefeated in this series, by the way. But I'm just going to cut it down like this. Both teams don't really have an identity yet. Syracuse replacing Kyle McCord, and Tennessee replacing Nico Iamaleava. And I genuinely think that Tennessee's defense is going to struggle this season. I think Syracuse is a much better team than a lot of people let on. I think Tennessee's in for a rude awakening. I think Syracuse is a much better team than what the spread indicates and what ESPN says. I'm actually going to go against the grain again. And I'm going with the upset. Syracuse 31-27. That's my prediction for that game in Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Saturday, 11 a.m. So game number 6. Number 8, Alabama. Bama! Travels to Tallahassee to go travel to Doak Campbell Stadium to take on the Florida State Seminoles, who went tragically 2-10 last season after having a hell of a run the year prior with Jordan Travis. And Danny Cannell is still crying about how they didn't make it to the playoffs. Well, this Florida State team has a shot to prove that they are better than Alabama. I think there's more pressure on Kalen DeBoer in this game than there is Mike Norvell in this game. Roster-wise, Alabama looks better. QB play-wise, Alabama looks better. Defensive-wise, Alabama looks better. Everywhere you're looking at, Alabama. I genuinely think Alabama is a much better team than Florida State. This game will be played at 2:30 p.m. Central Time, live on ABC, Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. Alabama has a 90.6% chance of winning. Alabama is a 13.5 point favorite. Over and under is 50.5. Bama is a minus 650. Florida State plus 425. Bama leads the series 3-1. Thomas Castellanos kept talking shit about Alabama this season, and then backtracked on his on him leaving Boston College. And I've never been a fan of that kid. I don't even think he's that great of a QB. Honestly, I definitely don't like his character. I think Alabama is a much better team than what a lot of people think. Even Bama fans think this is going to be a down season. I don't think so. I think they're going to be a SEC championship contender this season. I think they'll have a much better QB than Jalen Milroe this season and Ty Simpson. I think Ty Simpson grew. I think he will continue to grow. And in this game, I think Florida State is going to get pummeled. I think Alabama's going to fucking wreck Florida State 42-10. And I think that Florida State fans are already mad at Thomas Castellanos, but boy, what did they lose by that much? Yeah. If I was Thomas Castellanos, stay humble, young man. Stay humble. Next game we're going to talk about. UTSA travels to College Station to take on the 12th man in Texas A&M, the Fighting Aggies. That will be live 6 p.m. Central Time. A&M is favored 91.8%. According to ESPN, it will be live on ESPN. The odds are this. Ready? And this is Saturday night, by the way. A&M is a 22.5 point favorite. Over and under is 56.5. But UTSA is a plus 1,000. Texas A&M is a minus 2,000. Bettors, this is the game to watch. I'm telling you right now. This is the game to watch. And here's why. I think UTSA is much better than what Vegas puts out. I think UTSA is a much better football team than what people think. Jeff Traylor is probably the best Group of 5 coach in the country. Group of 5. Group of 5. Just throwing that out there. Group of 5. Every time UTSA plays a Power 4 or quote-unquote Power 5 opponent, they always play tough. They played tough against Texas. One year they played against A&M tough, and A&M is undefeated in this series 2-0. I think this is going to be a fucking slugfest. I think UTSA is going to come out hot. A&M's going to have Marcel Reed there, and I think Elko will coach a good game. I actually have A&M winning 34-24. But do not sleep on UTSA. A&M, do not sleep on UTSA. If you handle business, you handle business. And I will give you props for that. But do not let UTSA creep up on you. They are a team that you cannot let off the gas pedal. You cannot. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going for that plus 1,000 for UTSA. I just got a gut feeling. Usually when I have a gut feeling about something, it's probably right. I have A&M winning 34-24, but I would bet that 1,000 plus 1,000 in a fucking heartbeat if I was a true gambler. That's just my honest thought. Now we're going to jump into Virginia Tech playing against number 13 South Carolina in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium for another Chick-fil-A kickoff, or not Chick-fil-A, Aflac Kickoff Classic. That will be on Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Time. Everything's Central Time because I live in Texas, folks. So, there you go. It'll be live on ESPN. South Carolina is a 70.9% favorite to win the game. As far as odds, they are 8-point favorites. Over and under is 49.5. Virginia Tech is a plus 240. South Carolina is a 290, minus 290. And South Carolina leads the series 11-7-2. I like Lenore Sellers. I love what Shane Beamer is doing over there at Columbia, South Carolina. I'm going with Cocky and the goddamn South Carolina Gamecocks. Give me the Gamecocks 34-21. And maybe we'll get to see the fucking Cock Bowl this year in the playoff. I hope so. I want to see the Cock Bowl so bad. Please, Jacksonville State, be undefeated this entire season so we could get that chance. And South Carolina, get close to the SEC championship so we can get South Carolina versus Jacksonville State. Cock Bowl. Cock Bowl! Anyway, last game I'm going to talk about before we get to our games of the week, which we have 3 this week. And from here on out, I'm going to have 10 games. Just 10. There's 11 this week and there was 5 last week due to the fact that week 1 is special. Week 0 is week 0 and only has a few games. But this will be the last time we have multiple or more than 10 games that I deem worthy. So the last game will be on Monday, September 1st. Live on ESPN, 7 p.m. Central Time. Sonny Dykes and the TCU Horned Frogs take on the Bill Belichick North Carolina's Tar Heels. TCU is favored 58.7% to win this game. They are favored in the odds by 3 points. The over and under is 58.5. TCU is a minus 155. UNC is a plus 135, folks. Plus 135. Think about that for a second. This is going to be about as close of a game as you're going to get for this week before we get to our main event games. Our games of the week, by the way. I like this matchup. I think that Sonny Dykes is an excellent coach. I actually know somebody that knows his dad. His dad was a great coach, by the way. Sonny Dykes' dad. Shout out to Sonny Dykes and the Dykes family. Excellent coach over there at TCU. And then on the flip side, UNC, they have Bill Belichick, arguably the greatest coach of all time, coming out of retirement to coach college football. Now, what made him do this? I don't know. But the thing I worry for Bill Belichick is that gold digger. Is she going to be on the sideline? Is she going to be there to distract the players, give them a cock 3000? Or is Bill Belichick going to use the Patriot way to turn that North Carolina into a Tar Heel way and become a threat in the ACC? What will happen with the North Carolina Tar Heels this season? I have a bold prediction here. I'm going with the odds right here. Riff Ram. I'm going with TCU. 24-21 to put that 3-0 series lead by UNC to 3-1. I think Sonny Dykes is going to coach an excellent game in that matchup, and I think TCU is a Big 12 contender this season. So, which leaves me to this. We're getting to our games of the week. There's 3 games of the week. For now on, I'm going to have 1 game of the week, and it'll have special graphics quite like this one. This is going to be a fun moment right here for the PNP. But ladies and gentlemen, we got 3 big games, 3 top 10 games all at once. May I present, ladies and gentlemen, the games of the week.
Are you ready?
You damn right I'm ready. Let's fucking get to it. We have our first matchup of the season, or of the games of the week. We have Notre Dame, number 6 Notre Dame, traveling to number 10 Miami to take on the Hurricanes. And there's a reason why I'm wearing a white shirt. And a lot of people don't know that I own Catholics versus Convicts. There's a reason why I have this shirt on. This shirt represents the hatred between Notre Dame and Miami. And the historic battles between those two back in the day. Back when Jimmy Johnson and Lou Holtz were coaching against each other. You know, I love this rivalry right here. Catholics versus Convicts. It just simmers into my mouth. Such greatness. But here's the thing that Notre Dame hasn't done. They haven't won in Miami since 1981. They have not won in Miami. And they've won in Miami 6 times over the course of their rivalry with Miami. Notre Dame owns this series 18-8-1. 18-8-1, folks. So that's a 10-game spread right there. But Miami has kind of crept back up into the scene against Notre Dame. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape real quick. Carson Beck goes to Miami, transfers out of Georgia, and everybody's expecting good things out of Carson Beck this season. I think Carson Beck will have a similar season that he did with Georgia this past season. Kind of mediocre. What the hell? But anyway, as I throw that to the ground. So it will be played Monday night, or it will be played Sunday night. 6:30 p.m. Central Time, live on ABC. Notre Dame is favored 54.9%, according to ESPN. The odds say Notre Dame is going to win by 2.5 points. The over and under is 50.5. The odds are Notre Dame minus 130. Miami plus 110. I got to tell you, folks, that Marcus Freeman is something special. I like Mario Cristobal, and I love his disciplinary coaching. But let's be real. Notre Dame is bringing back some dogs on the defensive side. And you got Hall of Famers as sons on that squad. Jerome Bettis Jr., Urlacher, Fitzgerald. You got a lot of those kids that were thoroughbred by their daddies, And I'm a huge fan of Brian Urlacher, so I'm excited to see his son play. But listen, with all the talent that Miami has, I don't think they have the roster that they did a year ago with Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo and all those other guys, right? I think Mario Cristobal is looking at a different identity of a Miami Hurricanes offense with Carson Beck being there. Notre Dame to me is the biggest mystery team in college football right now. How are they going to do this season? I don't think they'll make the playoff, but I don't think Miami will make the playoff either. Give me Notre Dame with a big statement win. 31-17. I think Notre Dame picks Carson Beck off at least 2 times in that game. I think Notre Dame is going to pummel Miami in Miami, Florida. Next game we're going to talk about. Number 9, LSU. Travels to Death Valley. To take on number 4, Clemson. In Clemson, South Carolina. Live on ABC, 18:30. 6:30 for civilians, p.m. Central Time. Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler will call that game, I believe. And Clemson is favored 53.8% in this game. The odds, Clemson minus 4 points. The over and under, 57.5. Clemson is a minus 185 favorite. LSU is a plus 155 underdog. Now, there's been jaw-jacking between these two teams, back and forth, and I fucking love it. LSU's been talking quite a bunch. Everybody's hyping up Garrett Nussmeier, whatever the fuck his name is. I have a LSU friend, dear friend of mine, that I played football with back in the day. And he told me this, because Garrett Nussmeier changed his jersey number. I said, Heisman or bust? Guess what he said? He called that motherfucker a bust. He called that boy a bust, Garrett Nussmeier. I think LSU is in a world of trouble in this game. Clemson is probably the most complete team in college football right now, as far as looking at the roster and production value and all this other shit. LSU will not get more than 20 points against this defense. Give me Clemson 42-20. I got Clemson running the fucking floor with LSU at the end of the mop. I think Clemson avenges that loss against LSU back in the day when Joe Burrow was playing. And it turns that series lead to a 3-2. And by the way, this is the first regular season game that we're going to see LSU and Clemson ever play. Every other game that they played was bowl games. This is a regular season game. Not a playoff game, not a national championship game, not a bowl game. A regular season game. A week 1 game. Fuck yeah, sign me up. And last but not least, my favorite team in the world. If you haven't noticed by now, I am a University of Texas fan. Hook 'em horns. They will be traveling as the number 1 team in the country for the first time in the AP poll preseason polls in the history of the University of Texas. Hook 'em. History. To take on the number 3 team, Ohio State Buckeyes, the Ohio State Buckeyes, that beat them in the college football playoff in the Cotton Bowl, which people said that was the real national championship game. Now, I gotta be honest, I'm still bitter about that loss, because there was coaching mistakes in that game, both defensively and offensively. But now we're in a new season where new hype is around, new faces show up. You got Arch Manning versus Julian Sayin. Woo! Makes my fucking hairs stand up. Just thinking about it. Makes my skin goosebump like crazy. This is like the main event of main events right here. Arch Manning making his first big time start in college football. Now the question is, can he stay composed with that crowd? Can he stay composed against that crowd? Julian Sayin, on the other hand, he's never started a game in his life. He's about to face the number one team or the number one defense in the country, in my eyes, with the University of Texas Longhorns, with Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill, Malik Muhammad, Trey Moore, all those guys coming back. That defense is loaded. Loaded. Sark has a plan. Ryan Day has a plan. But the only difference is there's no Jim Knowles. Nobody is talking about the fact that Ohio State lost a great defensive coordinator in Jim Knowles. I'm telling you right now, Ohio State's going to have an off season in a way that, yeah, they'll probably still make the playoff, but they're not going to be in the Big Ten championship, I don't think. I think that this game right here will solidify either Ohio State or Texas. This is going to be a big one, folks. This is going to be the big game to watch right here. So let's take a look at what's going on with this game. It will be played Saturday at 11 p.m. Central Time. Texas is the 53.3% favorite. It will be commentated by Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson on Fox. Shout out to those two guys. I'm looking forward to hearing Gus Johnson once again. And here we go. Ohio State is favored -2.5 by Vegas. The over and under is 47.5. The over and under. Texas +105. Ohio State -125. And how about this? Two home games from 05 to 06. Texas took one at Columbus. Ohio State took one in Austin. Bowl game, Fiesta Bowl. Colt McCoy throws it to Quan Cosby to end the game. Texas took that one. Jack Sawyer strip sacks and takes the ball to the house to make the game, to put the dagger in the game between Texas and them last season. 2-2 series. Tied series. This is a big game for both programs. This will be telling how this season's going to go for everybody. Not just these two, but for every single fucking team. College Game Day is going to be there. Lee Corso's last headgear pick, by the way, which we'll get into that here in a little bit. Big noon kickoff on Fox. Dave Portnoy, banned, unbanned, I don't give a fuck. He'll be there. There is a lot going on with this game. The universe is surrounded by this game. It almost gives me vibes of the 05 game between Troy Smith and Vince Young. Everybody was talking about that these two teams were going to determine the outcome of how the season was going to go. It almost feels that way with this game. I feel like that whoever wins this game is going to solidify the college football playoff outbreak or outcome. Well, let me tell you something. A Sark coach team is very good on the road. Went to Alabama. Won 34-24. In Tuscaloosa. No one has ever done that. Under a Nick Saban Alabama team. No one has ever beaten them like that. Goes into Michigan. They just won a national championship. Mollywops them 31-12. And typically, when you look at Ohio State, first game of the season, they usually play Marshall or the school for the deaf and the blind. They never open up with a Power 4. They never really play anybody until they play in conference. Notice I said that. They haven't played a high-powered, or not high-powered, highly ranked team since Baker Mayfield was at Oklahoma. This is huge for Columbus. This is huge for Ohio State. But with all of the production coming back with Texas, I don't think that Ohio State will win this game. Give me Texas winning this football game 38-28. I think Ohio State scores at the in the game to try to pinch down the gap, but I think that realistically it'll be over by the time the fourth quarter starts, 38-14ish. But you know, like, I think Texas is going to make a statement in this game that, one, they want vengeance against Ohio State. Two, they're coming for everybody. Just like what Arch Manning said. Everybody thinks that we have a target on our back. We don't have a target on our back. We just got red lasers pointed at everybody else. And you know what? I really love what Arch is doing this postseason. He's starting to look like a true starting quarterback. He looks like he's about to go fucking handle business is what it is. And I'm fucking in for it as a Longhorn fan. But I think he'll have his struggles early on in the game because of the noise crowd. Or the crowd noise and the stadium pulse. That's a fucking thing with everybody. I feel like that broadcasts should start posting that. The fucking stadium pulses where it shows the stadium pulse and throughout the entire game. So that way everybody knows how fucking loud everybody is in those stadiums. So that way everybody knows that's a fucking tough stadium to play in. Instead of what decibels say, look at the fucking stadium pulse too. But yeah, I got Texas winning 38-28. Let me know in the comments, let me know in the chat what y'all think will happen this weekend. I think it's going to be a fucking blast. You know, it's going to be a fun football weekend for me. And I might come back moody, pissed off, or I might come back fucking cheery, eating fucking Cheerios. I don't fucking know. But one thing I will do before I do my closing segment is to touch base on what I said earlier. Lee Corso is a guy that I started watching when I was younger. Every Saturday, I look forward to watching College Game Day. I still do to this day because of Lee Corso. Entertaining, knew how to control the crowd. He's just a wonderful, wonderful person. And not only that, he's just an incredible human being. I enjoy what he does. I really do. he's what made me love college football so fucking much. It's not just the tradition. It's not just the environments. It's not just the pageantry. It's Lee Corso as well. And this being his last college game day, where he's going to be doing his headgear selection. I already watched his tribute on ESPN. I almost teared up like a fat ass baby. I gotta be honest, like, y'all could sit there and say, well, you never met the guy. Well, you didn't have to meet that guy. He instilled the love of the game into our hearts when he was on College Game Day. Such a phenomenal coach and player. Still holds the record with Deion Sanders in most interceptions in a single season. By the way, he was a hell of a defensive back. Played for Florida State, coached at Indiana, coached at Navy. And we're going to miss you, Lee. And I'm looking forward to seeing the future of College Game Day, but there will never be a guy like Lee Corso. Lee Corso made college football so much more fun than what it already was. So, Lee Corso, on behalf of the Pigskin Mafia podcast, we thank you for the fun memories and the fun moments where you're popping off the guns at OU and Texas Tech and all those crazy shenanigans that you did, dressing up as a leprechaun or a tree or the Florida State mascot and all these other mascots, and having such memorable moments where you would almost put that headgear on and then you throw it, or a helmet, and you throw it, and you put on a different headgear. Lee Corso, we'll miss the not so fast sweetheart moments. And we get to finally hear it one more time. You earned this retirement. Thank you, Lee Corso. And we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. All right, folks. That will be the show tonight. We had a great deal of viewerships. We had some people comment in the chat. This was a good show. I'm excited. I love the ticker, by the way. The ticker looks amazing. If you have any more feedback, positive feedback, negative feedback, let me know tell me what we could do to improve the podcast. It's been real. I am so excited for this weekend of college football. I'm already telling my buddies to start betting. I'm already telling people to pick and choose who to pick on Prize Picks and all that shit. But guys, I would not be here if it wasn't for you guys watching this show and enjoying the show too while you're at it. And I appreciate you guys for watching. So, we are the greatest show on YouTube Shorts that's live right now. We are the PMP. And that's Billy in the background. Goodbye. Mwah, and good night. Bang. Toodaloo, motherfucker.